guys go ahead. We'll start there. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so this past weekend, let's take it back. We were at a chamber function at Kachina's on Thursday night. That was nice to support a local business. Always fun to engage with our business community leaders.
Oh gosh, we filled that place up.
It was very, very nice. Did that. And then, this weekend I did a lot of work for our upcoming fundraiser. Looking forward to that. Did a lot of outreach, trying to get a hold of people, get people interested and excited. We're going to have a fun night.
Game show night.
Game show night. My boys competed in the regional speech tournament, and the speech team for Cary Grove, a big shout out, got first place. So very exciting. A lot of the participants are moving on to sectionals this coming weekend. And I think the same would happen with wrestling. Didn't CG Wrestling also?
Yep. 3 sectional qualifiers.
They sectional qualifiers and got third place. I think the team overall.
Right,
so very exciting.
Nice showing weekend again.
I will tell you though, if anyone has not had an opportunity to look at Neil Lazinski's raps about school being closed last week.
On your mark, Trojans, here we go. Cold day, yo, I know, you know, it's cold as can be. Believe you me, no school. January 30, you heard right, make sure you stay inside. All day Wednesday, under blankets, you must hide.
Get what made it to Good Morning America, to WGN. Not only that, but he is just a rock star.
Yeah.
No wonder the kids have just flocked towards him. He's really doing a great job.
Huge shoes to fill going in there for Mr. Sargent.
Absolutely.
It's done really well. So
he has. Yeah. He's fantastic. So
I hope he takes requests too.
And now look at it today, guys. So we had a polar vortex, and we've almost had about an 80-degree swing.
Oh yeah, I've got flowers growing.
Yeah, no jacket today.
The crocus are popping up.
Almost, yeah.
No jackets. It's nice.
No jacket. Are you guys gonna keep your shirts on or take them off in honor of the Super Bowl?
Sean,
I'll let the voters decide. Oh boy.
No, we don't.
I forgot my weekend. I just thought about it finally.
It just came to you?
It just came to me. So
rough weekend.
It was just a lot going on. We had Thursday night, which was a lot of fun. Saturday night, some poker, casual Cary poker, and Sunday we did so much building and family time. So my kids, Elliot helped me build a few things in the garage. Great. For a 3-year-old, he did a good job, a lot better than me. So we had a good time.
Awesome. It's fantastic. And how about you? Did you have at least a little relaxing after last weekend running down to...
Yeah, no running this weekend. So we went to Tasty Sushi, tried that out. It was very good. Me and Laura got a night alone for 2 hours.
It's very exciting to get those date nights in.
Oh, you guys were together?
We were.
Were you building
Same booth even.
Same booth.
Excellent.
And then the rest of the weekend was musical build.
Yeah.
Which we're getting closer.
That's
We're about a month out,
busy,
so it's real busy. Yep.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that. It's going to be very
We'll
exciting.
watch a little bit of the Super Bowl.
So we have had some businesses come to town lately. You just talked about Tasty Sushi.
Yeah, very good.
What else we got going? Coming into Village pretty soon. I think we got another, is it Lucky Pennies?
Lucky Pennies, a Lucky Bernie's brand.
Okay.
Going in
Sandwich
by
shop.
Atletico.
Right.
That mall over there.
And then I think some new hair salons and new nail salons. We have a couple new businesses coming in down to the downtown area.
Yeah, quite a few. Co-working spaces, a lot of things, a lot of different options. Foods, dining, workspace.
Right.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting
times.
I'm getting excited to shout out to any young ladies 16 to 21 that would like to be in the Miss Cary Grove Business Scholarship.
It's coming up, right? When is
that's
that?
coming up. We're going to really kick it off in March. But the applications are out at the high school and some of the surrounding. The bank has some, a few of them. If anyone that's interested could go right on the Cary Grove Chamber website. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. I've been very fortunate to co-chair that event, be the co-director. And the young women that get into this program, they amaze me, all the things that they are able to do. So
what are they required for that? Essay?
They don't do what they wind up doing is they get a sponsor, so they get a local business to sponsor them, and then they go and they interview, they meet the owners, find out about them, and then they prepare a minute to a minute and a half speech about them that they will deliver on the pageant evening. But there's all kinds of stuff they do. We take them to all different types of opportunities within our village to learn about things. We volunteer time. They do a charm school.
Oh, nice.
So they do a lot of very fun things. They do a senior prom night for the seniors over at Three Oaks Assisted Living. So just a lot of fun
stuff
events.
for them,
And then after the fact, the winners are very involved with our
Correct.
local, with
Correct.
activities
Businesses in the chamber and
and helping
the
promote.
parades.
Yeah, a lot
They
of
help
local
promote
businesses.
the village with different events, whether
Yeah.
it be Main Street Fest, the car shows, sometimes do the baseball opening
Right.
day.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
A lot of fun things. So I'm looking forward to that. We're getting going on that too. So
Excellent.
that kind of wraps up what's kind of going on.
And it's
Yeah.
all your free time the coming months.
Yeah, less and less.
All of
free
us
time.
are busy. All of us are busy.
It's fun.
So what do
It's
we want to
enjoyable.
chat about today, though?
Economic development in Cary.
Development.
I think that's been on
So
a lot of
you-
people's minds.
And you guys have talked to a lot of people. What are you hearing out there? What do people want?
Just more businesses to come here for other communities to spend their money in our town.
Right.
We got a lot of vacant land on entries to this town that
Right.
remain vacant at this point.
And they don't help the tax burden.
Right.
Correct. I mean, the only way we're going to help is to increase our revenue, right? We got to get that
Absolutely.
revenue stream up. So to get that revenue stream up is going to help with some of the expenses that increase. But like you said, we have some limited parcels. It's not like we have a lot of free land, but
No,
we have some
we have some.
really very targeted areas.
Pivotal.
Some prime
Yes.
Very-
lands, right?
very prime.
Locations. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Well, over by Aldi.
Yep.
Right,
On
and then
Three
coming
Oaks.
in on 14
Yeah.
up there, and then also on 31. Big corridor there that
opportunities
people
there,
forget
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, just north of Clausen.
So those are the types of things that we certainly want to make sure it's sustainable, that it's income generating,
What was
that
that?
it's income generating,
Take two.
and that we put something in there because we've got to get it right.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for some of those, you don't get any more than one
and
chance.
you really
Yeah.
don't. You're not going to have that opportunity when something gets put in there. We need to make sure that it's going to add value to our residents and to our village, and going to move us in a positive direction forward that helps us out.
Right.
Right.
The sustainable business,
Right.
which isn't our choice. You got people coming here and they present their ideas. We just got to be open to them
Right.
and see what's there.
So as a
right?
village trustee, what do you think, and I mean, I have a perspective, of course, but what do you think are qualities that you need to have as a village trustee then to make sure that if a business approaches, what should your role be?
Kind of a little bit of research and understand them. Maybe meet with the owners of those businesses and see what they're actually proposing and bringing and how they think they can sustain and what they're going to bring to this community.
Sure.
Well, and trustees are in an interesting position. When a lot of businesses that are coming in and need conditional use because it doesn't necessarily meet the current use of the zoning of that business where it is now. The trustees kind of are the key holders to whether or not that business is going to happen.
Have a chance.
It really at all. And that's a difficult position because you have people who are deciding that I'm going to do market research and determine if this business is viable. And on the other hand, you have just a seller and a buyer who want to do business, and you have to, trustees have to juggle deciding on behalf of the residents and businesses of Cary while at the same time not infringing on the rights of those who want to sell their land. And that's, we see time and time again.
And the business owners that want to take the chance.
Right.
It's not easy to open a business.
Absolutely.
A bit of a
Right.
cop-out, but you have, I believe you need a real great balance to
I agree.
help determine what's best and what is infringing a little too much.
Right. Well, and again, you have to have an open mind. And anyone that wants to come and seek relief or talk to you, the first thing they have an opportunity to do is come to the committee of the whole. So that's before you're voting on anything.
Right,
So
right, and see
that's
anything.
normally the first step is they'll come to the committee of the whole and they'll present what they're thinking. And a lot of times they're looking for feedback from you. I view the role as a trustee to say, okay, here's what I've got. What do you think of it? I shouldn't have a predetermined answer that says,
Right, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I should say, okay, here's the concerns, or here's what I'm looking at that you're bringing. I think maybe you need to make some changes. Again, we're always talking. The good news is that when you're as involved as all three of us are, we're constantly seeing people. in
Right,
our
you hear
community.
what a lot of
And
people
we
say.
talk, and we talk to them.
the
We
banter.
ask them about it, so we get a
Absolutely.
good feel for a good flavor for what it is.
And the committee of the whole residents have the chance to ask questions.
Yeah, and
Those-
that's
And convey their concerns to the trustees
Correct.
additionally, and I think it's
Great
important to
reason
listen
show
to them.
up. Right.
and sometimes those all concerns are something we want to listen to.
We want to hear
But sometimes
everybody.
you're able to alleviate them because they could have a misconception. They could have, information that's not, accurate.
Absolutely.
And, our job is to make sure that, I think the main thing we can do as a trustee is we want to make sure that any developer, any future business knows that we have a shingle hung out there that says we're open for business.
Right. You just have to, if you meet the zoning requirements, then that's just, ready to go. And if not, then we need to kind of cooperatively talk and have discussions about how can we make this where both, parties will thrive.
Right.
And sometimes I think that's where the stalemate happens.
But
right
and a
there.
balance is not always easy, right?
No,
It's not.
absolutely not.
You're going to make decisions, and I have found that sometimes there's a decision. Most of the time, you make a decision, someone's not going to be happy with it.
Nobody,
Someone
yeah.
will be happy,
Right.
someone will not be happy.
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes look at the whole overview and say, again, we've talked about this. We're not aldermen. We're not.
Right.
We represent the whole village.
village, a lot of
So we have to look
residents.
at the village as an entirety and say, okay, I hear your concerns, or can we meet these concerns, or where are we with
Yeah.
this? And if the answer is no, then it's probably not a viable option for our
Absolutely
village.
right.
And if the answer is yes, then we try and say, how do we listen to what our residents are saying to us,
Right.
and how do we address those
And
come
act
up with
on
a
that.
solution?
Right.
How do
You
we
need
come up with a
you need
solution?
to see the forest through the trees because there's a lot of trees here in our forest.
Sure, we do have a lot of parks too, a
Thank
lot
you.
of open space, so that was a great lead into that. Now we're talking
Let's
about
go
that.
into it. Open
know?
space.
I don't think people realize how much open space we have in Cary.
There's a lot in Cary.
I mean, truly, when you want to go to different parks, different walking trails, we
Bike
do a
riding,
great
trails,
we do a
parks.
great job with that.
Yeah.
So shout out to the park district, the conservation
Yeah.
areas, and our village as a whole. So that's really nice for probably one of the reasons that a lot of young families want to come out here.
Absolutely.
Want to live
Maybe
in
that is the
Cary.
determining factor, I think. If in my field, I come across a few people now and then that are
Right.
interested in moving, a little further from the city, and really, if they're willing to exchange a commute,
Right.
it's for
drive time,
oftentimes
for
that's that space, and it's that
green
home, that
space.
feel of a
That
community,
hometown community, that they want to be
Small
able to do
community.
things.
which you don't really duplicate when everything's really overdeveloped. So it's a balance,
Right, right. So again, I think that economic development is always going to be a very key factor as for any type of municipality, but especially when you're a small one and you're limited with where your sources of revenue are, to make sure that it's done effectively, sustainably, and in a manner that is going to add value to your community.
I agree with everything. You've just hit the nail on the head here, so I'm glad that you could do all the talking because I agree. It's a tough situation
It
to
is.
talk about because when it's not a full-time position by a dedicated department in a
Right.
municipality, you're spread thin. And when you're understanding that economic development may be the path to reducing tax burden for the
Right.
residents, but at the same time, it's a bit of a catch-22 because to be the catalyst to that change requires time and money investment and seeing into the future.
Right.
And I think that when you have immediate needs like our village has had financially, it kind of keeps falling off the list and gets pushed down the road.
Yeah, it gets pushed.
Or it's hard. You have to keep in mind that for X amount of years we were still coming out of a recession.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that we're getting to a point where companies are doing better and developers are coming out and having money and opportunities, financing available to them,
Right.
you might see more options that come before the board.
Right.
But again, we want to make sure that we're a board that is always open and willing and inviting.
To hear somebody out.
And that could lead us to different types of incentives at some point that we may need to look back on, and how do you incentivize someone to come to your town versus somewhere else, and what do we have in our toolbox?
Especially when you see the long-term benefit it can bring to the
Right.
community.
Right, just even
Yeah.
sitting here now, actually, I remember a board meeting I was at a few months ago, and there was a couple that wanted to build a few single-family homes over in the north neighborhood of Cary, and I remember thinking that if I was them, just whatever happened, the dialogue amongst the board, it got so odd, it got so
Yes.
weird that I thought if I was them, I would have picked up my bag like 10 minutes ago.
So thank you very much, Trustee, for your questions and your comments. But truthfully, when we, as Audrey pointed out, we designed these right from a blank sheet of paper. And the desire was to look and try to have the confluence between kind of market demands to try to come in and build something new here in Cary and welcome new families in or allow new families to move within the village. And to do so in something that folks are looking for in their own properties today that's a little bit current. Folks, we're just trying to make sure that the design and the petition here before you tonight is more commensurate with something that is marketable. So honestly, we appreciate your suggestions and whatnot, but if at all possible, we'd like to do it this way. Is there flexibility? You are the board. That's why we're here before you. And we're here, humbly to ask for your support.
Do you have any comments?
Well,
Did you want to say anything else? Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing what your thought process was on that. I do think, I like the idea if it's going to be a kitchen and a living area to have more of the light and the airflow. So I appreciate that very much. I went by the area. I can see, you're trying to fit in with what's there. And I think it's exciting to get these couple of lots done. And I am going to rely on your professionalism, and you are experts at this. So I welcome that you are wanting to bring this to our community.
I think it's a great opportunity to bring some new life over to that part of town. If you look at I looked at the Google Maps, a little bit more expansive over here. I think that the two homes there would fit in nicely. I remember I was on the board when that house burnt down, and it was a good opportunity. I can't believe it's been that long that it's taken us to get that built, but I think it's good. When you look at the sight lines, driving up and down the street, I think it would fit in nicely. There's not one of these houses that are there that are perfectly centered on a lot. Everything is off center. And I think it would fit nicely into that area. I like the idea that it's a 2-car attached garage. People hopefully we can get some millennials to buy some houses in here, and they like outdoor living, so giving them more of a space to move outside of their kitchen and dining area, I think that's forward thinking. So I do support this project as well. Courtney, roll call, please.
Betts?
Yes.
McAlpine?
Yes.
Kostler?
It's not that I don't support the project, it's that I don't support the setback, so I'm a no.
Weinhammer?
Yes.
Cavelli?
No.
Kraus?
No.
Yes.
3-3. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes. 4-3.
Thank you. Congratulations. Good luck with your project.
Now that's just because I was sitting right next to him, so I felt whatever kind of heat was happening.
the
But
tension.
I don't think that that's a good atmosphere.
No.
If you think from a boss to employer, coworker to coworkee, you need to at least give people the opportunity that they're being heard. And regardless, that there's not a prejudice that you have that I've already decided here. At least tell me what you have to offer. If I don't agree, these are my suggestions. But I felt really rough, sad, kind of disappointed for those people that they came into my community that they're not residents of. And it seemed like they were given the impression that nobody was interested.
Yeah, like you're not welcome.
Right.
Yeah, which is not me. But,
No.
I think we're a reflection of
I
the
do
powers that be.
Absolutely.
And instead of looking at that again, instead of looking at something like that as an opportunity to take an area that's kind of had vacancies because of a fire or whatever had happened.
Right, that those properties were empty.
Exactly.
Right.
Instead of taking that and saying, hey, wow, this is a great opportunity to kind of get a little jolt over there and do a little building and take that to the next level, we unfortunately had some of our trustees just perhaps wouldn't have treated them as the way that I think that they should have been treated, kind of what Sean was saying.
And no knock on you, but I think the whole, when I think of what happened there, though, I would hold the responsibility of the atmosphere to the entire board. Now, I don't say that, I don't want to think that you're responsible for the way other people react, but generally speaking, it was just, I could feel this. I'm not much of an energy spiritual person, and I understand that there are some people who are more receptive and complimentary, but it's difficult when you have people with such conflicting views and conflicting ways to deal with things, because I think it was kind of that clash of ultra support and maybe not support that it created like a contentious atmosphere.
Well, and I think that's going to happen when you have that dynamic.
Yeah.
Sometimes the negativity can suck the life out of something.
Flows over.
Right?
Certainly, it does for
So
everything.
sometimes it takes a stronger pull than sometimes positive.
I agree with that.
That positivity. So that's I think what you're seeing.
Yeah, negativity ruins a lot of things.
Yeah.
And no matter how positive you are, it's very difficult. So I think communally people need to pull themselves out of that.
Absolutely.
Because long story short, all I was saying is that atmosphere was strange, and I hope that's not what we bestow upon the people who come in the future.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Because that's nobody wants to come up there and this is how I make a living. I want to try to do this. I want to pay my bills this year, and then just feel like I wasn't even heard.
You don't even have a chance.
I don't have a voice.
You don't want to get that reputation.
No.
I would never want Cary to get the reputation that, hey, this is a really difficult place. You don't want to go and pitch your
You don't want to get.
pitch your business out here because you're not going to be received
Right.
well.
Everybody can do their pitch. There's rules and
Right.
regulations, and you're following within them.
Right.
You should have an equal
And,
chance as everybody else.
And to establish, though, I got, and the counter argument, because I'm constantly battling in my own head, is that had these houses been, and this is ironic because that neighborhood is falling under the UDO because of the square footage and such, but they could have come forward with plans for a home that would have met the current standards.
Right.
But I will say that with my firsthand knowledge, in which I will give myself some credit, I have plenty, that these sort of homes that currently stand there may not be what the current needs by far are of what the market is for people who are searching for new build construction.
Right.
So they were making some adjustments to meet the current needs.
I think, and without them, I can't imagine why anyone would come and build a home that would have been meeting what the zoning had suggested, but it wouldn't have met what I could have thought many, if any, consumers would have wanted as a net
Probably
product.
would have bought it. It could have sat on the market forever.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want to put something you put up and sell.
Right.
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 And again, my rationale to that is when someone came forward with something that we should have been a board that came together and said, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
How do we make it work?
Right.
Thanks for coming. That's
Here's
fine.
some of our concerns.
Let's
see
make
what
it
we
work.
can do with it. Let's
Right.
make it work. It can't be, hey, I didn't get my way, therefore no.
Right.
Because you're not always going to get your way. That's one thing as a trustee.
Compromise.
There's going to be
Right.
times where, and I'm not ever saying compromise on your core principles. I'm not ever saying anything like that. But there are going to be times where things are a little different than you'd like it to be. And you have to be amiable to say, how do we come up with something that's going to work well for everybody?
Right. What are the residents telling me, and what do we think
Right.
is applicable here? You're asking for relief in this case from something because what the current standard is really doesn't meet what the current needs are.
Right.
Right.
And I think that between educating community members who have concerns about what the current needs are and educating yourself, because not everyone's aware of them,
Right.
it goes a long way. And then you feel the love.
Right.
I don't feel much love.
Well, especially as we're getting to Valentine's Day, we want to feel the love. Feel the love.
What are you doing there?
The heart, the love. Come on.
Oh, there's something wrong with your pinky. I didn't know what you're doing.
The bottom line to this, the resolution to this situation was that even though you felt the negativity in the room and you probably felt very uncomfortable for that builder that was coming and seeking approval from us, the good news is that we were able to approve it. It wound up being a 3-3 vote.
Right.
And the mayor was able to do the tiebreaker.
Right.
Again, I just think that it's unfortunate. There's no reason, I saw no logical reason as to why that couldn't have been a 6-0 vote and said, welcome to this new developer and thank you for bringing your business to
Business.
Cary.
All right.
It could have been a 6-0 vote in favor of them, but if the atmosphere is still that's not appropriate. There are a lot of things outside of everyone's control.
Right.
I don't need to go around telling you that, but there are things that you do have, and your receptiveness, your willingness, eye contact, polite, things like that, they go a long way. And,
Correct.
And I think people want to be heard, and that's the job. But yeah, at the end of the day, the things move forward in the direction that I'm happy to say I think was best for the community, and
Absolutely.
I think almost even all the nearby residents were more or less that I had heard were in favor
Right.
of it.
Right.
Correct. I went and visited with some of the
Yeah.
People.
surrounding people,
Yeah.
and they
As have
were
I.
in favor of it. And
Yeah.
there were some questions, and those got
Kinda
answered.
answered, right.
And it's understandable.
Satisfactory.
So,
I know.
And that's something that maybe I would project over the next 15 years, depending on housing goes and the lifestyles that are kind of evolving out here. You're going to probably see more of with homes from the 40s, 50s, and 60s that aren't going to meet. People additions are great, but cost benefit wise, they're a lot more sometimes than a new home.
Than a new home. Yeah.
And when you have areas that may be in demand, but you're going to see a few more of these, we might find ourselves in this very same situation as many times before. And I hope that we can knock it out of the park,
right. Absolutely.
communication-wise.
Right. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so let's chat about Saturday. What do we got going on Saturday, gentlemen?
Fun.
Dale, why don't you tell us?
Game night. Game show night. Yeah.
You know what?
Pilates.
Think about it. On a February Saturday evening,
Yeah.
not a lot going on. What a perfect time to say, I'm going to go have some fun with these three
Us.
people. With us.
Well, we want people to come, right?
Right. So we might have to stay
Yeah,
in the
let's
car.
try that again.
Okay, take two.
We won't talk to you, but have fun at Pilates.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
won't bother you. You can ask us questions.
But we're going to have, we're going to be,
Absolutely.
really the whole purpose of this is for us to have a good get together with a lot of people that support us, that are
Correct.
excited,
A lot
which,
of interaction, questions,
yeah,
answer.
and get some
Face-to-face
stuff
time.
done that way.
Right.
And then Pilates serves food and drinks too, so no
Right,
one's going to
right.
complain about that. That's really what's bringing people there.
We're
right?
going to have some
Some
fun, like you
basket
said,
raffles.
games. We're going to have some raffles.
Yeah.
Let's do some fun. It'll be a fun evening. So we're hoping that if anyone's out there wondering if we've got room, we got room for you. Come on out and join
They're
us.
big rooms there.
Big rooms.
Plenty
So
of rooms.
we are looking forward to everyone that comes out, an opportunity to meet you and greet you and talk with you and
Compete.
fun.
More
compete,
important,
have some
little
fun.
some trivia. There's things to be won.
Always things to
Like
do.
the big things. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it'd be great.
If you like this video, don't miss any others. Click on the subscribe button and bell below to be notified of future videos.